Callan Diggs here in Blue Lake, Colorado. Still here in Western Colorado, and I want to take the opportunity to do part two of a previous video of people saying I can't be a nomad because I'm a parent. Now, in a previous video, I have sympathized to a certain extent, especially if you have kids who maybe have got used to their current neighborhood and where they're living at. Same goes for your husband. And maybe this is a new desire that you have recently grown to like. You've been interested in a nomadic lifestyle, but you feel like your kids and significant other is making it hard for you. Okay, so one person said that she spoke to her husband, who was a cop, and at this time her kids were teenagers, so they were essentially a year or two from graduating out of high school and going to college, and they were planning on moving into another state to have kind of a very unique college experience. But she explained to her husband that this is something she wanted to do, or she wanted to at least try it. Okay, her husband was very, very supportive. Even though he worked typically, typically he had 10-4s, which was he worked 4 10-hour shifts, so only 40 hours. Then he had 3 days off. In some instances, he had to work more hours, but typically he had 3 days off. So a few occasions he had 2 days off. So even though there were times, those days off, he wanted to spend time with his wife, spend some time with his kids. He had some projects that he wanted to pursue on his own, things that he knew that required a significant amount of time in itself. But at the same time, he loved his wife enough to know, or he loved his wife enough to care about her passions, and he supported her. So she actually started the nomadic lifestyle by herself. She started with a travel trailer, and she went out to various parks, national forests, Bureau of Land Management land, which is free, and these types of free places to camp to actually experience it, to test it out, to see if it was something that she could realistically do as a permanent lifestyle. And surprisingly, she fell in love with it. She was gone for a significant amount of time, but I believe it was I don't remember 100% correctly. I believe like every month she visited her husband, and they spent like a few days together, like a weekend together, like a long weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or I think it was like Saturday, Sunday, Monday together. She did that once a month, and then she would go back to living nomadically, and that actually worked well. It worked so well over time to the point that her husband joined her. At that time, her kids were essentially about to graduate from high school. They spent the rest of the several months with some relatives, and they graduated from high school, went on to college, and the husband joined her so they could live a nomadic lifestyle together. So that's just one example of how it's possible, even if you are a parent, to live the nomadic lifestyle. If your significant other has been with you for a long time, chances are they're not going to end the relationship over something that you want to pursue. I mean, it's very possible that maybe you may pursue the nomadic lifestyle for, let's say, 3 months, and you decide, it's not for me. It's not something I want to do. At least you tried it. So there's, I mean, I'm sure, I could offer other examples of ways, but that goes to show you that it is possible. I'll give you another option, because people may say, "Oh well, my kids are 4 or 5," and they may use that as. At the end of the day, people are always going to find some type of excuse, and unfortunately, if you're going to always find an excuse, then you're not ready to reach the finish line. This video is not for you, and unfortunately, just go back to wherever you was doing. Not to say that to sound mean, but it's just at this point in time, some people are not ready to reach the finish line. But I will offer another example for some perspective. Another example is if your children are younger, so let's say they're not 16 or 17. Let's say they are 6 or 7, okay? One thing is, okay, now let's say you desire to live in these places where you can live off of BLM land or national forest land for 14 days at a time for free. Let's say you want to try that out. And let's say you have the resources, you can afford it. You can afford a good tow vehicle, a travel trailer, But one common question that may be the issue is how I'm going to make money. Okay, well, one thing that you can do to resolve that is while you and your significant other are in your current jobs, whether you both have full-time jobs or one has one has part-time job, is find a skill that will allow you to work remotely. Okay, so for some people it's coding, for some people it's graphic design, for some people it's working for a online publication. Some of these online publications, they get seed funding. You have digital marketing careers. There's a lot of these skills, and where it gives you the ability to work remotely. So if either one or both parties obtain these skills and develop it, and are able to secure these types of jobs, that can be a great way to live remotely. So even if one person was able to secure a remote job, okay, it could be something as specialized as that, or it could be something simple. There's specialized there's remote jobs as simple as 1-800-Flowers, or Alpine Access, or Live Ops, or actually check out my first book, which is Reaching the Finish Line: A Practical Guide to Discovering a Champion in You, which is included in the link below. If you actually check out the first book, I have a whole list of these employers where you can work from anywhere, okay, as an employee. But even if one person had one of these more commonplace jobs, or a person with a specialized job, and the other person didn't work, depending on your expenses, you could sustain yourself on one income. Especially if a person is coding, they make almost 6 figures a year. A person can definitely sustain their family from that income. Again, also it depends on your monthly expenses. Or perhaps maybe there's one person, maybe they have a remote job of some sort, and another person, maybe they're working a local job seasonally. So that's quite possible. So maybe one person is working a remote job, maybe another person is, let's say, working for Amazon. They have these Amazon camper forces. Not something I typically recommend due to the work conditions, but that's an option. And there's other jobs in where you can work seasonally at an amusement park. The list is endless. But I just want to offer that example to show you that it is possible. For people who say, I can't be a nomad because I'm a parent, my kids, my significant other. Again, I do have some sympathy to a certain extent, but it is possible if you are flexible and if you are truly determined to reach the finish line. If you're truly determined to reach the finish line, you're not going to make a bunch of excuses. You're going to get serious about this and commit to taking the first step. That's what I want for you. It's my intention for you to reach the finish line.